Good evening. I look crazy right now, but I mean, I'm trying to fix it and I can't really fix it. My good, listen, we'll look back at this. Ugh, I can't even look at myself right now. Can I fix this? I look red. Um, oh, cool. I just fixed it. All right. Um, we'll look back at this and we'll laugh, okay? Um, good evening, right? We made it to month two of the Loc Journey, and as you can see, we've definitely experienced some hair growth. Um, we've definitely experienced some hair growth. Where do I start? From last month to this month, I washed my hair, right? I went against the the instruction of my loctician and I washed my hair. I was in need. I was in need. I look back and I can tell you I was in need. And so I washed it. Needless to say, my hair unraveled. Some parts more than others unraveled. Like right now, I had a back row. I have like I don't have a back row anymore. I can feel where things were, but now I have no back row. Um. Anyway, after I washed my hair, I went over to my loctician and I had told her what I did. I was like, listen, I was in need. I had to do what I had to do. Thankfully, she didn't yell at me. Uh, but in fact, she said, like in terms of what things look like in a general sense, right? Like with the progress that I've made um, before I washed my hair, she was like, it looks good. A note on that afterwards, but she said, yeah, it looks good. Um, I told her about how I don't have a back row anymore, and she was like, yeah, that happens, when you have less hair. And so with that, she was saying that we can go in with the crochet hook. That way things stay. I didn't forget the names. Ginger, I forget if it's in order, but Ginger, Harper, Piper, Ivy, and Jamal. That's crazy. Jamal is still around, so I guess I still have a back row ish. But anyway, hmm. I'm supposed to go in for maintenance, which would include, washing. Like she would wash my hair. She would retwist my hair. Um, and so that's supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen. My first retwist in 2 weeks. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. When it comes to maintenance, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to define my Loc Journey in terms of like traditional semi freeform. This is definitely not freeform. Um, but I feel like I have to do a bit more research on this. But something that I'm thinking about is, or a question that I'm asking myself is, how often do folks with traditional locks get retwist? Because for me, I would like obviously my lactician knows. Actually, I don't even think I expressed it here. So originally, I wanted to go the semi freeform route, right? And when I say semi freeform, I was talking semi freeform. I mean like bare bone, like semi freeform. Um, I like the idea of it. I like the look of thick roots and how how natural semi freeform locks are. Um, with the level of like, mm, want to be careful with my words here. Mm, with the level of maintenance, right? That's what I wanted and still want. Even that's what I wanted. And that is what I wanted in the beginning, and this is what I still want now. Um, and my loctician knows it. She knows that I want to go the semi freeform route. Right? She would just call it like low maintenance. Um, and with that in mind, she had said, come in every, 4 to 8 months, and if you sweat, make that 4 to 6 months. Wait, no, 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 no. I meant, excuse me. I said months. I meant weeks. Come in every 4 to 8 weeks, and if you sweat, 4 to 6 weeks. And so I'm thinking about, given the fact that we're on a budget, I'm I'm mindful of the fact that I can't be going every month. At least like want to give myself enough time to accumulate funds, and so I think I would push it to like 6 weeks, 6 weeks. Yeah, yeah. This is gonna be something. This is gonna push me. This is gonna test me. Um, and that's actually a good segue into what I want to talk about because I was pushed in terms of my mm, in terms of like being comfortable with myself. Um, from month one to this point, or technically from month one to yesterday, I've gotten comments about my hair. I've gotten stares, I believe, about my hair, and I definitely was. I definitely experienced. Mm, I definitely was just self conscious about the way that I looked. I think I mentioned it in the last update, but I remember, just feeling it like a bit more in recent times. I've gotten my hair. My hair was called nappy, um, and I was even calling like my own hair like I was being like disrespectful like to my own hair, right? Like if you notice, um, I know that the way things look, the hair kind of like blends into itself, but at least when it comes to the video. But if you notice, um, this guy's a little chunky, right? Like the twist is still there, but in terms of the base, you can see that this guy's a little chunky, and so with this guy in particular, I was, and this is after I'd washed my hair. Um, I was just not pleased with how I looked, and like I don't remember calling like this particular like lock a name per se, but it's like I was like, and look at this guy, like what are you doing, like that type of thing. Um, and so yeah, and I was reminded to be nice to my hair. Um, remember, and that was a good reminder too because the one of the main reasons, if not the main reason why I'm doing this is because I want to accept myself. I want to be happy with who I was, be happy with who I am, be happy with the way that I was created, and so that was a good reminder. Um, like I mentioned previously, my hair was called nappy by somebody nearby me, and um, I acknowledge that that person was just speaking out of ignorance and just from a place that's just a place that has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? And so or at least, can I even say that? Like, it's just complex, and but that's on them. Um, that's on them. That's on them. I was told to cover my hair, because my hair looked nappy. Um, but in that moment, no, I stood my ground. Didn't cover my hair. Went outside with my locks, and just went about my business. Um, just went about my business. And so, funny enough, this took place after I saw my loctician, but when it comes to myself and the day, I want to give, hold on, let me try and make a timeline in my head. So, I washed my hair, didn't like the way that I looked, and was to, reminded that that my hair is beautiful, right? Um, then I went to my loctician. She affirmed me and said like, "Wait, no, your hair looks good. Like it looks fine." And for some reason, like after she said that, I felt so sure of myself. Like I could go anywhere. Like I just felt so sure of myself. And you know what? I just remember that. I didn't forget that. At least even now, like I remember what it was like, and I remember being in that moment and receiving it, and that's what I mean when I say like I didn't forget that. And then that's when my hair was called nappy. That's when I was told to put a hat on my head, and things like that. And so, um, it's like you'll get compliments and you'll get, what's the opposite of a compliment? Um, just not so nice things said to you, right? Um, like you'll get that and you'll get that, and it's just what do I do? I just keep going. Um, Bible says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and so even like regardless of what he or she says, fact is a fact, I guess. Um, and this is me just trying to like this whole journey is me trying to internalize that. Right, it's gonna be a process. Um, trying to think. Is there anything else that I wanted to share? Not really. Not really. Um, my lactation does lineups, so I'm hoping that she does a good job. Uh, I'm hoping that she does a good job. And you know what? Like things are looking all right. In terms of like, uh, I think we have a little. Oh, look at that! Got a little separation going. I I yeah, I don't have much else to say, but this is what my hair is currently looking like. We have just I don't know. I don't know what else to say. So I guess that's pretty much it. Um, month two in the bag, and we're looking forward to month three. You know what? It'll probably be a good idea for me to share what my hair looks like after the retwist, my first retwist. So um, could definitely document that. Anyway, I talked a lot. Uh, Later.